Jim Miller is the UFC Iron Man, almost 16 years in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Starting off his career in 2005, but starting off in the UFC October 18th, 2008. And he's a man that never gave up, a man that just kept on coming back. That's what the sport is about. That's what combat sports is about. It's about getting back up. That's what really brings you that respect. And that's what Jim Miller has done. And he fought at UFC 100. He fought at UFC 200. He won both those fights. Jim Miller, if he can continue fighting till October 18th, 2024, he will reach 16 years in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Miller is top ranked. He's always been one of the guys in the lightweight division that fought the best. And he's beaten some of the best. And even though he didn't beat all of them, and you can't expect him to beat all of them, Jim Miller always continued. And that's what he's going to be remembered for. He's going to be remembered as the guy that never quit, the guy that kept on going. And at 40 years old, he finally made a statement. He finally said that he wants to fight either Iron Paul Felder or Brock Lesnar. And he wants to Kimura Brock Lesnar. Why is he making the contrast between himself, a small guy, and the biggest beast there is, Brock? It's because they both fought at UFC 100, and Brock was in the main event, and Brock also fought in UFC 200. And although Brock fought Frank Mir at 100 and he fought Mark Hunt at 200, Brock really didn't deserve to come back for UFC 200. It was kind of like a spectacle fight. And Brock was embarrassed by USADA. He was busted. Brock left the Ultimate Fighting Championship in a bad way. Jim Miller, he's had Lyme disease. He fought through that. And he's that typical blue-collar guy that just never gives up. And you got to really put him as the pinnacle. He's the pinnacle for what he is. He's a guy that kept his mouth quiet, kept on fighting, never really went out there and screamed that he wanted more out of life. He's just the type of guy that is humble and was humble to the end. And that's what we really need to remember him as. Does he really want to fight Brock Lesnar? I think he would. I think he would want to fight Brock Lesnar. Could Jim Miller at 40 years old beat Brock Lesnar? That'd be an entirely different question. I'll leave that up to you, the fan. The thing is now that Jim Miller wants to fight at UFC 300. That's really what he wants. He wants that symbol of what he really is. A man that fought throughout the hundreds of UFC. And fought those big events. And although Jim Miller never really was a main eventer and he was never high on the card at UFC 200 or 300, that's what it's about. It's about fighting, continuing to fight, never giving up, and continuing to the end. We gotta ask ourselves, when is he gonna give up? When is he gonna lay his gloves down on the canvas of the octagon? It looks like he might never will. He might fight till he's 70 years old, but at some point, Father Time and reality has to set in. Jim Miller is the type of guy that will know. And he's beat some of the best in the world, guys like Donald Cerrone, and he's fought some of the greatest out there. Although he hasn't won all those fights, he fought. That's what he's going to be remembered as, a guy who fought. No matter what happened in life, Jim Miller was there, he was ready to fight, and he was never going to give up. Jim Miller would fight the best, guys like Charles Oliveira, Anthony Pettis in his prime, Diego Sanchez. He's a great guy himself, and he's going to be remembered for his durability, his passion, and I think that Jim Miller deserves a fight. He deserves to fight Brock Lesnar. I think it would be the most fitting fight, open weight fight between Brock Lesnar and Jim Miller. I think we should give it to him. I think that he deserves it. I mean, who else would deserve it? A guy who fought 43 fights in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, fought all the way back since 2008, never gave up, never left the UFC, and just kept on fighting all the way till 2024. That is what Jim Miller is. And I want to say, Jim Miller, you're the man. You really are. You really are inspiring a lot of people. Nobody's done what you've done. You really set that record. You're the Cal Ripken of mixed martial arts. You're the Iron Man. Much respect to you, Jim.